Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to do some things before we start. We have a few minutes, just a minute before we start now. Yeah, I hope you guys can see my screen. Actually, okay. Yeah, just 1 minute to go. And we are going to start. Okay, we have 74 now. I think we are expecting more than that, but okay. Yeah, I think it's time to actually start somewhere. And the first thing is just we're going to be having a short prayer because we're going to be having a short prayer. I would like if someone can just unmute him or herself to just give us 2 minutes prayer before we kickstart the whole thing without calling
In
anybody.
Jesus' name.
Amen.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day and time in your presence. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. We pray that as we have all gathered here today to share insights towards something that we all aspire for ourselves, you help us with wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and smooth understanding of all that we share here today in Jesus' name. For in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Yeah, that is very interesting prayer. Very short and concise. The first thing we're going to be moving on to is sorry. Yeah, it's going to be the next on our speaker. We have Mr. Itofah. I hope you can see my screen. Are we seeing? Can you guys see my screen, Mr. Dr. Itofah?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. I can see your screen.
All right, that's interesting. Oh, so let me just read briefly on our speaker for today. Yeah. Sorry, I just quickly have to accept these guys.
Do you want, should I just let the people in while you just concentrate on?
Okay, yeah, cool.
Am I an admin? Did you make me an admin?
Yes, sure.
All right, awesome.
Okay. Now, today we have Dr. Itofah. I'll just read briefly on Dr. Itofah profile, his biography, and the great things he has done. Dr. Itofah is a development consultant and the founder of two nonprofits in Nigeria, Church on the Streets and My Niger Food Bank. His work involved designing community-led intervention to tackle food insecurity and increase access to immersive education for vulnerable children in Nigeria. Through his advocacy, Itofah has raised over $16,000 in funding to design sustainable solutions in education and food security. He is a TEDx speaker and a 2023 Chevening Scholar pursuing a master's degree in international development management at the University of Bradford, England. That is a very, very interesting, bringing someone who have actually been able to raise over $16,000. Oh God, this is massive. This is really massive. Guys, it's like you're going to teach me how you are raising this one. It's really massive, to be honest. And running two non-profits at the same time, simultaneously, is not something very easy. even me that I'm running one, is not really easy. Dr. Itofah, you are doing very, very fantastically great, to be honest. So I will just move to the next speaker. We have Goodness Ogeyi Odey. I hope I got the pronunciation correctly. Goodness Ogeyi Odey. Please, if I'm not, please you can kindly correct me, please. Goodness Ogeyi Odey is a public health practitioner passionate about advancing health system, strengthening an equitable engagement toward the achievement of global sustainable development and universal health coverage, especially in Africa. She is a Chevening scholar pursuing an MSc in health policy, planning and financing at the world-leading institution in public health and social sciences. The London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine and London School of Economic Politics as Science, LSE, Goodness' outstanding contribution towards the achievement of health equity in Africa has been recognized by the Princess Diana Award 2022 and the International Conference of Family Planning, ICPP, Trailblazer Award. Above all, Ogeyi is a child of God and evidently more than any eyes can see. Yeah. When I actually met, let me just talk briefly. When I actually met Ogeyi Goodness, I was like, wow, I think I've seen this person. I've been hearing about her fantastic job. Yeah, she has been doing in public health sectors across the world. So she has been doing fantastically well, and bringing her on board here, you guys are going to be enjoying something very massive. And I can assure you of that. She's a professional in her space. So, and all of us, we're actually still learning. We are still learning. I know that we have gotten to the top, but we are still learning. So, myself, Blessing is an experienced educational development practitioner who is dedicated to empowering marginalized communities through innovative technology and development projects. Currently, he is pursuing MA Masters in International Education and Development at the University of Sussex through a prestigious Chevening Scholarship, where he is expanding his knowledge and skills in leadership, education, technology, gender, policy, and research. As a founder of Slum and Rural Youth for African Child Development Initiative, Alpha for Africa, he has organized and designed over 15 sustainable projects that have addressed critical issues such as education, technology, health, and gender disparity. He has positively impacted over 20,000 vulnerable children and youth across Nigeria. Oh my God. I clap for myself. This is my profile. Sometimes I just feel like, oh, I need to have done great. So it's not easy to be doing all of this, to be honest. It is not easy. People contributing to our society just to make sure that our society get better, just to make sure that people will have equal access to both health, both education, everything just to reduce poverty. It is not really something very easy. And I feel like all of us, we are doing very well. We are trying our best, and we also urge all other people to also do as well, just to contribute to your community. You don't have to have an organization, you don't have to be running a non-profit before you can actually contribute to your society. And that is why we are here. You are a leader because you don't know that. You don't have to be a top or like the chairman or the chairperson or the executive director before you can contribute or before you can be a leader. You can start from whatever you are. So that is what we're trying to let you understand here. It's good to have you all, and I'm going to be expressing knowledge. We're going to be sharing our knowledge and understanding with you guys, and we pray that you all get a point and we all get. I know that. Don't let me say. I know that all of us, like, we are going to get whatever we wanted. We might not get. All of us might not likely get Chevening scholarship, but I believe that we are going to get something. Even if it's not Chevening, it's going to be something better. So I believe I want to welcome you all to this program, and we are getting started immediately. So good to have you all here, and good to have the speakers as well. So I don't know if Dr. Itofah will have something to say. And goodness, want to say something before we just kickstart and take the book by the end. Let's go, guys.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Itofah Ivarah. Thank you so much, Blessing, for such an incredible opportunity. My mentor, goodness, it's always great to have you on the same panel to talk. I'm really just super excited to share my own experience. Having been a Chevening scholar for the past 2 months now and studying here in England, it's been really incredible. I'm really looking forward to sharing real-time experiences, questions I thought I wish someone had asked me, and certain answers I wish I had gotten, and certain experiences I wish some people had told me. So pretty much I'm just going to be sharing my own experience with you guys, and I just hope you have a pen, jotter, quick secrets. The hunger you come with will determine the level of what you will take away from here. So just try as much as you can not to be distracted, so you could make the most out of it. Blessing here has put in a great work just to ensure that you guys are all here together. So please, you guys, give us that honor by giving us 100% attention. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Now move to goodness.
Hi everyone, good evening. It's good to be here, and I'm glad to share with you all. Thanks for coordinating this lesson, and I just want us to get down to business so we can maximize the time we have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good to have you, goodness, and every other person. You are all welcome. Looking about Chevening, like, what does Chevening actually mean to you? Like, when we say Chevening, what does it actually mean? Let me start with it. What does Chevening mean to you? What is Chevening?
Yeah, I think for me, Chevening is a bridge from where I was to where I want to get to. So a practical case study would be just having to study a program that I know very well would position me in terms of a global context to contribute to issues in the global south and issues in the global north. So for me, Chevening is that bridge that has given me an opportunity to intersect between a country where I'm from, Nigeria, to be here in the UK, and to go to wherever I want to go as far as I want to go. So that's what I see Chevening as.
All right, that's very interesting definition. Goodness, want to say something?
Okay, well, it's somewhat close to what Itofah has shared. I would say Chevening is an enabler to my career goals, my professional development, aspirations, and it also reminds me strongly on the impact that I need to make back to my country. So for every day I go through my very exciting and top-notch university, I'm reminded that there's so much work to be done back. I'm reminded in those rooms that there's so much more to do. So Chevening is that enabler of my dreams and aspirations, and I'm grateful for this. I think I should speak up because it seems like I'm speaking into my stomach. But yeah, that's about it from my end. It's cold, so I guess the cold is getting at me.
Yeah, good. That is very interesting. Now, for me, I'll say Chevening is that like Itofah has defined, like the bridge, just to get the knowledge, to acquire the knowledge, to acquire the network in order to get to the level of impact that you actually want to make. I think I used to tell people that if you want to japa, Chevening is not for you. You understand? Like, we are not there because we want to japa. We are there because we want to acquire knowledge. We are there because we want to make impact. We are there because we want to share our knowledge with people. We want to network with people. We want to make global impact. That is why we're here. We're not here because we want to japa. So if you want to japa, you are on a japa level, please, I will tell you that this platform might not be for you because we are not here to preach japa. We're here to share our knowledge, let you understand the benefits of what you can actually gain from this Chevening scholarship and the connection, you can have to make impact. And that's why we're here. So briefly, we have a very long way to cover, and we have in our Chevening, I believe all of us actually understand what is meant by the eligibility, what you need to pass when you're applying. I should assume that you guys have started your application already, and maybe you're only waiting to submit your essay now because we have within, let's say, 13 days to go or so. So I'll just advise you guys then to be, tidying up your work because we're going to focusing majorly, like broadly on the essays. And looking at the eligibility, maybe we can talk about it after the whole section because we have a lot to cover. So looking at 4 different essays that we have the leadership, we have the networking, we have why do you want to study in UK, and the career plan. And looking at all these 4 essays, before we dive into the 4 essays, can you just tell us like, oh, what is likely to be connected to these 4 essays? Because these 4 essays, they are 4 essays, but to me, they are just one essay. There is this connection you have to have among all these 4 essays, bringing them together. I personally applied for Chevening twice, thrice, 3 times. I got to interview stage twice. So my essay got me to interview stage twice. So I already knew like, oh, this might be probably like what Chevening is looking for. Disclaimer, please. I'm not saying it is what Chevening is looking for. Sorry. What we are here is just to like share our own experience and share our own knowledge. It's not exactly, we don't know what they are looking for, but we just want to share our own based on the experience that we had. So that is why we are here. So I just believe, to my own understanding, this might be exactly what they are looking for. I don't know. I'm not sure, but this is just where I've actually been told that work for me. So I believe it can work for you guys too. Now, quickly, can you just tell us like one thing that connected all these 4 essays together that you feel like is the connections between all these 4 essays together? Let me start with Goodness.
Well, I agree with you that there is a connection amongst the 4 essays. I don't know if it's one thing. I'm not really a fan of absolutes. I always believe that there's always so much more than one thing. I don't believe it's one thing, but maybe you have your own one thing. So the question, looking back to my essays, I think that one of the things that connects all of them is your strong passion to contribute to national development in your field of expertise. So the leadership essay is asking you, how have you shown to be a leader? And give us examples of what you've done. And definitely, depending on what your area of expertise is, you're talking about your leadership and the impact you made. You're talking about why you are doing what you do. Same thing with the networking essay, which is more like, okay, how do you use your network to make impact? And then they're asking you, how do you want to utilize all this experience to further your career goals, your educational goals in the study in the UK essays? And then they're asking you what next after your Chevening studies, Chevening enabled study in the UK. What would you use that experience for? So I see the connection in how you're able to strongly communicate your interest to contribute to the development of your country, how you are able to strongly connect who you are, what you've done, and what you want to do towards the growth of your country or your community. Now, why I'm saying this is that the bane of Chevening as a scholarship scheme, like for every scholarship, they have their objective. The bane of Chevening as a scholarship is a partnership between the UK government and the Nigerian government. So it is a way that we what we call Commonwealth nations are collaborating for mutual interest. So Chevening is not just giving you money to study in the UK. It is their own means of sustaining the partnership they have between the Nigerian government and the UK. So with that in mind, that's like the core of the objective of what the scholarship is about, to the best of my understanding. But it would be exciting to hear from us.
Well, that is very, very concise. Itofah, what do you have to say?
I think Goodness has pretty much touched everything. By the way, she's my mentor, so she has already touched everything. You know, it's not easy to go to London School of Economics, people. I think for me, Chevening as a concept or as an ideology or even as a scholarship scheme, first of all, that's how I look at it from this 3 framework. The connecting thread for me is your ability to sell your value proposition. So Itofah Ivarah as an individual, as a prospective scholar, who am I? What is it that I've done? And why should I be investable? Imagine somebody giving you over 40 million naira when I did the conversion as of last year and just dash you like that. You means you have to have something. That's how you should approach your essay. Why should they give you 40 million naira, for instance, now? And so when you approach your essay like that, it makes you think about what values you have to bring to the table. And there are 3 strategic ways I use in expressing myself. Number 1 is Itofah Ivarah, what have I done? So leadership basically is trying to see for you to encapsulate and share your thought process and paradigm as regards what you have done as a person. Before we even choose you or get to be chosen, what have you done? What have you been doing? Leadership. One of the secrets in leadership, hopefully we'll get to enter it, is make sure you show data, quantity and data of impact you have done. It's important you show those. Your networking, how have you been able to leverage relationships that helped you achieve that thing you did in your leadership? That's in networking. Then career, as my good lovely sister said, goodness, it's also this money we want to give to you now. How does it convert or translate back into what we're doing in Nigeria? So it's a bilateral relationship, the British government and Nigeria as it is. So if you're going to be working in an area called cancer, or going to be working in an area in education like Blessing is, or public health like Goodness is there some type of project that's currently going on in the country where the United Kingdom and Nigeria are working as a bilateral relation? Show that and show how your career would enter. And then finally, studying the UK. So by the time you put all of that together, you have a very beautiful sandwich where you've been able to sell yourself, sell your value in a way that they can't help but, pick you. So that's how I see the connecting trade.
That is very, very concise. That's very interesting. Quickly, I think we should go quickly into our essays. We'll be talking about the leadership. We'll talk about the networking. Why do you want to study in UK and the career plan? And majorly, I just believe that most people that are on this meeting, I believe you guys should understand. Maybe you've gotten an idea of what is meant to be leadership. What does leadership mean to you? And why do you want to apply for Chevening? You should know that before you come to this meeting. But why do you want to apply for Chevening? Why did they need to choose you? When I applied for Chevening, I was more focused on Chevening because I knew Chevening wants me. Like, Chevening is for me. Like, I was very sure that Chevening wants someone like me. They need me. So that is the question you need to ask yourself, like, oh, do Chevening actually need someone like you? Although it doesn't really matter, but because the way we approach our questions might be different, but you should be very certain, like, oh, this thing you should be able to get you. They want someone like you. If Chevening is not picking you, that means they are losing, you get. So looking at our leadership question, please, I'll start with the Itofah. Like, what does leadership essay, how can we write a distinctive essay from that particular aspect? And what do you think it should be involved in your leadership essays? Can you just tell us?
All right, thanks a lot, Blessing. First of all, you said something really, really profound that I just want to highlight a little bit. You must first of all believe that you're achieving worthy. I was speaking to somebody earlier and I told her, look, don't submit an essay selling all those poverty crap that, oh, you are poor, that's why they don't help you, your destiny is finished. That's nonsense. Look, a time will come where there will be scholarship in your own name and you will be the one paying people's tuition to go and study in other parts of the world. Don't sell that poverty crap to people. Don't approach your essay as a person who if I don't get this shit in my life has ended. No, you're a global asset. So first of all, approach it with a global mentality. That's number one. Then number two, how do you answer the leadership essay? I said something earlier on. Leadership is in itself all about your value proposition. What value can you bring to the table? What value have you brought to the table? And how will Chevening as a scholarship in a context contribute in a little margin or in more margin to ensuring that you achieve that goal? And I'll use myself as a case study. I'm currently studying international development management at the University of Bradford. What are my career goals? I want to be able to work as a global policy development advisors to international NGOs and global development organizations like UNDP, United Nations, WHO, WTO, basically. Number two, I want to work in the area of economic referendum. How do we look at development in the global south? How do we look at development in the global north? How do we look at poverty? what are institutional practice that is impeding development in this? I want to understand it so that when I'm offering solutions, my solutions are not just responsive, but they are solutions that in themselves can actually cause a referendum and change. Number two. So how did I interpret that in my essay? I told them, before my master's, I've been running a non-for-profit organization in Nigeria on my own. As I had already raised over $10,000 to design interventions that tackle families in IDP camps who are affected in crisis hotspots. I told them how I've been able to partner with other organizations to build free schools to ensure that we tackle poverty. I showed them how on my own, that opportunity gave me a platform to go and speak in organizations like University College Dublin in Ireland, how that opportunity also made me to speak at TEDx, how that my work has been able to reach over 8,000 direct beneficiaries, how my solutions have been able to giving me an award by Oxfam. What I did was show them what I was doing, what I want to do, quantify that data, and connected to how global organizations are now ascending or giving recommendation to my work with all the awards, speaking opportunities, and all of that to validate that, man, this guy is on the right path. If you leave this guy is going to explode. If we don't partner with this guy now, when this guy hammer, it will be that, oh my gosh, this guy applied to Chevening, we missed an opportunity. So that's how I approached it. And so that's how you need to look at leadership. What are you currently doing? What have you done? Beautiful. Quantify that data. Now, what institutions have validated the work that you are doing? What institutions have validated? Please, one Deborah, she's direct messaging me to distract me.
Sorry, I got the message.
So what institutions are you have validated your work? By the time you've done all of that, my gosh, they'll say, if we don't help this guy now, when this guy blow or more, it will be that we missed out on an opportunity. So that's how I approach it. Don't lie. Don't say what you have not done, because they will Google you. And I'll wrap up with this story. When I entered for my interview, the minute I walked into the interview, the interviewer on the panel called my name as I highlighted some of the works I had done. Pretty much, he had gone to Google me, checked me out on LinkedIn to see if there was a corroboration with what I said and the things that so when I entered the interview, it changed from an interview to a conversation because they wanted to know more about my work that I was doing. So don't lie, don't only say what you've done, don't exaggerate, because let me tell you, they will catch you. So that's leadership.
That is very interesting. For me, I would just say leadership, when you're approaching leadership essays, what you need to put on your mind is you need to put a STAR approach. What do I mean by a STAR approach? Like, you're trying to give what is the situation when you're making a response to your essay. Talk about what are the situation, what are the tasks, and the action that you took, and now you talk about the results. And when you're talking about the result, I think most people actually made mistake in that aspect. Some people try to exaggerate their results. I don't think, when I wrote my essay, I remember I explained how I actually started with just 3 children. Like, I trained 3 children in school. So I don't have to train like 1,000 people or 5,000 people. So I told them that I started with just 3 children, just 3. And what I did was just that, I wanted them to actually pass their exams in school, their final exams. So I just gathered the 3 children and I teach them mathematics, teach them diverse subjects. And at the end of the day, they all passed their exam. It's just 3. I did not make 100,000 impact, So it was quite easy for me to, at least, I know I could be able to handle 3 children too at the same time. So what I want to tell you is that, when I now mentioned about these 3 children, I was not able to explain further that, we did 3 children. I actually started with 3 children, but in 2 years, I was able to train about 6,000. You see, the difference was actually clear. Like, I started with just 3. I called my people. I did not have anybody then. It was just only me until I expanded to other people. Are you interested? I was able to get further people on board. And in 2 years, we were able to train like 6,000. So the question is, how do you start your impact? You can also talk about it. You don't have to say, I started with 3,000, so it's about 5,000. It can just be one person, you get. It can just be one person. So you don't need to exaggerate, trying to not to exaggerate, because once you exaggerate or you lie, I'm telling you, in the interview panel section, they will get you. They will get you. So don't exaggerate, just say whatever the impact you actually made. Go through trying to acquire the skills using a style approach. Talk about what is the situation. Oh, this is a particular problem I'm actually looking forward to solve in my particular society. Maybe there is this but there is this poverty, or in the educational setting, you might say that, oh, there is this poor in their curriculum. You feel like the curriculum is not actually helping, and you feel like you want to expand your teaching, maybe by creating extra lesson you get. So you just have to talk about what is the situation, like what is the problem, and what are the tasks you actually want to take. Is it that you want to talk to your principal? Is it that you want to talk to the stakeholders? And what are the actions? Like, do you want to create something? You want to champion that change? You have to talk about the action that you took. Then you talk about the results, and don't exaggerate. Don't lie about the results. Don't. You get. So that's what I would just say. Goodness, I don't know if you have anything to contribute to that before we move to the next essay.
I think you guys have done justice, and I think we can move to the next essay.
Okay. Yeah, networking essay now. Networking essay. I think most people, when I actually saw the list of, from the Google form, I think most people have a difficulty writing networking essays and networking essay and career plan majorly. So I think we'll share more light on that briefly. And we can start with goodness. How can we create a proper networking essay, and how can we write a proper networking essay essays?
Okay, so like very amazing and on point response so far from Itofah and Blessing. For networking essay, it's very much connected to how you write your leadership essay. But I think one thing you need to do is read the instruction. Like, make sure you read it and understand it. Now, the networking essay is a bit different from the leadership essay in two ways. In the first way, it's talking about not just the impact you have made, but how you utilized your network. And mind you, there's a clause about professional development, so professional networking. So sometimes we are just quick to just maybe think we read it, but we didn't understand it. So I just want to emphasize on that. One of the important things to do is ensure you read it and understand the instruction. Secondly, one thing that also makes it different is that they want you to share new examples. So what that means is that the examples you gave in the leadership essay would not be the same examples you are giving in the networking essay, but there has to be a connection because it's still you, right? I remember when I was writing my essay, I had to really think back to some of the things I did many years ago, like when I started my engagement in the social impact and health space. That's back in 2017, I think. And I think because I saw somebody ask the question on what if it's not a large impact. Honestly, if I look at the kind of project I have implemented and been involved with, like health policy projects, like I've won grants, I've implemented, I've consulted. If I'm grading them, the story I told in my networking essay may be the smallest of impacts, but that was more like a bearing point of how I started my journey professionally in the public health space, in the development space. So I had to reflect. It took me weeks, I think months, to say I have different experience. I look at my CV, but this is a point of connection. Like, this is where I started from. And I told that story. I spoke about how I met a friend of mine who is a very close friend of mine till date. On Facebook, I was just looking at his posts he makes during his NYC. For those of you who are not from Nigeria, it's a compulsory service you give to your country after your university or tertiary education. So I was following his posts as an undergraduate student. I think I was in my 200 level or 100 level then. And I always see how he speaks about localizing the SDGs, that's the Sustainable Development Goals. I found it interesting to see that someone can practicalize these global goals, and I wanted to know more about the SDGs. So I reached out to this friend of mine through Facebook, and he connected me to a network that was doing work around the Sustainable Development Goals with young people. I started out a chapter of that network in my state, and I mobilized young people, and we did XYZ projects, and two layers of networking. I networked with this person through social media. Now, this is saying do not downplay any platform of networking. And you must mention how you met this person, who that person is. And another layer of networking is I set up that's like a similar chapter, leveraging on what is existing. And I network with other young people for us to create more impact, networking with other civil society organization and health-based organization in the state. So you can see how everything is literally saying network. I didn't just focus on, oh, we're able to reach 1,000 people, we're able to do this. I knew that the networking essay is supposed to strongly show the power of me utilizing my network at every phase of my social impact journey, at every phase of promoting health equity, right? So keep that in mind. Read the questions, understand it, and reflect. Like, there's nothing like introspection. Reflect strongly and say, what have I done? And how can I utilize that story to, like, my unique story to answer this question? And that thing I want to answer is, it's okay if you're not prepared for Chevening now, you have to apply another time. Chevening is competitive, and there's a reason for that. If you want to increase the number of statistics they have to pull out later this year, by all means, I'm not going to discourage you not to apply. But for every one of us who got Chevening, Itofah, blessing, I still have like some of the Chevening scholars who are here to provide moral support, and I'm sure maybe they would come on board to speak later. Like I've seen Deborah, I've seen Ogeyi and Elisha, who are current Chevening scholars, right? We all prepared for this. It didn't just happen to us. They didn't just give us the money and say because they like our face or for whatever you are thinking. It was merit-based preparation in the sense that we had put in the work. So if you feel that based on the requirements, I am not well prepared for this, it's totally fine for you to prepare yourself. For some people, they are joining this webinar to understand what it's about and know how they can prepare themselves in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years to apply. But if you still want to give it a shot, by all means do. So basically what I'm saying is have in mind how have you used your network, and do not look down on any story, right? My second networking story also showed like, okay, high level networking, I met XYZ person and he was able to like support me in this manner, and I've been able to give back in this manner, still networking with more people. So those are what I would say. Still, yeah, use the STAR approach, like Blessing has said, the situation, the task, the action, what it led to. Another good thing you can do with your networking essays, this is a good place to brag. Yes. See, nobody will blow your trumpet for you. You see, leadership essay and networking essay. If you have done good work, please talk about your good work. The Bible says that a light that is not placed on the hilltop, how will it shine? The light has to be placed on the hilltop to shine. If you don't shine your light, nobody will see it. Chevening does not know you. You have to tell them who you are. So I remember like some of my close contacts and people who supported me in reading my essay. They're like, goodness, but you are bigger than these things. Like, you have done much more. Why are you downplaying your efforts? Talk about like the recognitions you've gotten from the work you have done. Talk about the publications you've had, because I'm a researcher and I have like quite a few publications. Talk about how you have engaged with high-level stakeholders and you are influencing the global public health space with your conference engagements, you've made your abstract and all of that. Now, somebody like me, I just want to be on my own. I just feel like, is this thing necessary? Am I not priding? Permit me to use the word, like, am I not being proud? But no, nobody will blow your trumpet for you. You have to do it yourself. So if you have done those work, talk about it, find a way to infuse it in a practical way to say, I have shown leadership in this manner. I have utilized my network in this manner. It has led to XYZ. And you have proof, like for everything I said, they checked me out. I got a notification after my interview that somebody from Chevening FCDO was checking my profile, and I'm like, okay, they're going to verify. And I had no fear. I knew that everything I said, there's a proof to corroborate it. So yeah, I think that's about it from my end. I hope it helps.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting to actually hear that, that is very, very interesting. Like, you have to blow your trumpets, as she has said, you have to blow your trumpet. Nobody is going to blow it for you if you don't. You get. I remember when I was actually writing my first essay on networking, and my boss was like, "Listen, you've done a lot. Why are you not seeing those things that you've done now?" I was like, okay, so it's time for you to like sell yourself. Nobody will sell you if you don't sell yourself, and it's an opportunity for you to They want to know how you have been able to manage those networking that you have built over time, and what are the things that that is bringing that exchange for you. Because it's another thing to actually have that network, having powerful network. Another thing is having able to sustain that network. So, are you sustaining your networks? How are you making impact with your network? And I think one major thing they want to know is that how have you used that network to impact other people's life? How have you been able to use that network? Because you can network with the president of Nigeria. The president of Nigeria can be your uncle or can be your cousin. And if you are not making use of the network, you realize that you will gain nothing. But if you are making use of the network we have with one particular person, irrespective of the person, it can create a massive impact for you. So it depends on how you now manage it and how you manage the network of people you have. So for me, driving and writing a concise and very, very excellent essay when it comes to networking, what you need to put in place, like I mentioned earlier before, using a style approach. But when you're writing a networking essay, I think it's a little bit expansive, like trying to explain, be specific, when you're writing, authentic, put time, put where, like question like where, question like how, question like when. So you have to tackle all these three major questions, like how do you meet this person? Where do you meet this person? When do you meet this person? And what are the results of meeting that person? So you have to let them know, even, I met Mr. Lagwaja in XYZ, and this is in 2023 year. And through that, I was able to, gain an important attention, or you can say through him, you are able to have access to a particular platform, which actually gave you so amount of thing. Maybe you want to go into like pad, you are kind of person who advocate for gender, and you want to distribute all this extra part of it. You met this person, and this person gave you a link to this person, and through this person, you're able to annex a particular number of pad, which you used to impart over maybe 300 students. It's a very, 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 very specific. You meet one person, you are able to gain a particular opportunity through that person to impart other people. So those are the major things you need to talk about when you're talking about your networking. Yeah. Moving to the next essay, which is why do you want to study in UK? Why do you want to study? Why UK? Why not US? Why not Canada? Why UK? Why not Singapore? Why not Finland? All this global education system. Why not? Why UK? Sometimes this is the question I used to ask people that actually come from Canada. When I meet people, I say, "Oh, I'm from Canada," or "I'm from US." I say, "Why did you choose UK? Why UK? But you have good educational system in your country. Why are you coming to UK?" Some people will say, UK education is a way, like when it comes to global ranking, they are top in this particular subject. Some people will say, because of the money, I think UK education is way cheaper compared to US and Canada. That is what I actually heard from one person that come from US. So you see different reasons to this thing, especially when you go to Chevening website, you see a lot of reasons. Why do you want to study in UK? So before I start pushing, let me start with Itofah. Why UK? That question, how do we address that question? And can you provide an example of how we can actually tackle that question? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Blessing. So for me, answering that question, why studying in the UK, I think it's what I want everybody on this call to know what they're asking you for is they're asking you two questions. Why did you pick a school in the United Kingdom? Keep that at the back of your mind. And then number two, why the United Kingdom specifically? So when you're approaching that question at the back of your mind, just know that they're asking you, why did you choose that school? And then you now talk about why you chose. So for me, why did I choose the United Kingdom? I chose the United Kingdom specifically because my university in question has an incredible man called Professor P.B. Annan, who's a world leading researcher in policy and sustainable development. And I knew that this is a man, PB Anand from India, is a man that I really, really wanted to experience him. And the interesting thing was the fact that he's our achieving mentor here at my university. So I chose the UK specifically because the work I was doing back in Nigeria, there was somebody at the other end who shares a similar story. For 25 years ago, he left India and came to the United Kingdom to come and study. Today, he's a world-leading professor in my institution, literally. So Itofah can be the next world-leading, maybe not a researcher or a professor, but I could become a leading global development expert tomorrow. Not maybe, I will become, in Jesus' name, amen, leading development expert tomorrow who is working at the African Development Bank, WTO, and all stuff like that. So how do you address that question? STAR approach is also really important here. Situation, task, action, results. How do you marry that in? First thing you need to look out for is what makes your school that you are picking top-notch in that particular career that you're going to study. Princess Okribo, could you mute yourself, please? Praises. Yeah, thank you. If you're going to choose international development in Bradford, why Bradford? Why international development in Bradford? I talk about Professor P.B. Anand and why I chose him. Highlight a professor, highlight the modules you're going to study in, highlight how that module will impact the work you're doing. So I'm currently taking a module called Policy Analysis for Governance and Development. And what I'm learning about the course is learning economic models from countries in the global north, and then learning economic models that have impacted situations in the global south. And then how do you marry that? And how do you come up with a new referendum or solution? So I told them that in my essay. So you want to ensure that you know the professors that are teaching you, at least one professor that is teaching you, know his or her work. Number two, know the modules that you're going to be studying and marry those modules to the cost, to the things you're currently doing back in Nigeria. If you're working in poverty, if you're working in public health, if you're working in increasing gender equality, if you're working in climate action, marry those modules back to that stuff. And then finally, try to humanize that part of your essay. This is different for everybody, but for me, try to humanize that essay. How do you humanize that part? Talk about things you want to explore in the United Kingdom. By the way, United Kingdom is a multicultural environment. In my apartment alone, there are 5 nationalities, from India to Pakistan to China to Iran. All of us, we are here, literally. So it gives you that multicultural environment. So when I go to the kitchen to probably fry egg, for instance, now there is my Chinese colleague or there is my friend from India, we're having a conversation, cross-cultural conversation, global perspective on issues. That's one of the things. So humanize that. You want to go to London you want to go to Madame Tussauds in London, put it there. You want to go and watch a football match in Manchester, put it inside. You want to go to everything, just marinate everything inside your essay. Talk about the professional part, talk about the career, then talk about the things that you would love to explore in the United Kingdom when you eventually get here. What it does for you is that it makes whoever is going to be reading it at the other end find you very interesting. By the way, if your essay can get you into an interview, the chances that you get accepted is really high. But again, what will mess it up is if you do not know, you don't know where you're trying to go to. My Sister Goodness mentioned something very, very important. Last year, or this year rather, 14,000 people applied. They picked only 45. It shows you how competitive this stuff is. So if your plan is to escape and you want to write your essay in 3 days, the chances are slim that you will get it. Me, for instance, this is not to brag or anything. It took me 2 years to be here today by the grace of God. 2 years, mental positioning, strategic positioning, digital footprint, before even starting to write the essay, right? People like Goodness mentors now in 2 nights, they can develop this framework and submit it. So that's why you need to treat this stuff. So you don't say, oh, I just want to just wake up and write. If you've written before now and everything we've said here, it's not entering. Take the time, work on yourself. Next year, hit them, surprise them. So that's how I think that's for this the UK part. That's my response. You're muted, bro.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Thanks for that brief. Anyway, let me tell you, it took me 3 years. 3 years. So don't tell me that. It's not easy actually. Be able to bring your points together. And please use the person. So to be able to like bring your points together and being able to write something is a little bit time consuming. You have to let them know what you're doing because they want to verify what you are doing. They want to see what you are doing. Anyway, you don't have to be, I think there's one question that actually pop up like, do I have to put everything that I do on social media? No, not all. You don't have to see everything, I don't put all. there are some things that I've done in the past that I don't put on social media. And it's very painful for me today. Seriously, it's painful. So it is just like if you put things that you've done on social media, it give you an evidence, In Nigeria, they say when there is no evidence, you keep shalaye. So when you have evidence, it's quite easy to convince people like, oh, I've done this is the evidence. So, but when you don't have evidence, you just keep talking. They are not sure if you actually did it. So, but it doesn't really matter if you don't have the evidence on social media, you can still get it. But once they want to know is that, are you really, really making impact? Are you on this space? Once they can verify, oh, this person is on this space, they know this person. So you are good to go. You are good to go. So before I move to Ogeyi, goodness, what do you want to say?
I think by and large, you both have covered most of what it is about. I see some people ask some questions in the comment section about if you are in the petroleum data management, if you stand a good chance. Honestly, Chevening is very interested in almost every field, almost any sector. So don't look down on the fact that maybe you're not interested, or you're not doing work in the international development space or humanitarian sector. That's just because all of us here. Okay, so that's because all of us here are in that field, right? So that's why you get to hear a lot about our personal experience in the humanitarian sector or social impact space. But trust me, in our cohort, you have people doing stuff in business, tech, engineering, agriculture, climate. So it cuts across different fields. And you know the beautiful thing, because your own field is rare, it makes you unique. It gives you an edge. Everybody has their distinguishing factor. For you, it could just be because your area of study is unique. I have one of my leaders here, Deborah. She went for a program around cancer studies, cancer research. And when I heard her program, I already knew she was going to get in, because it's very unique. It's a field that is not so populated, and it makes you, it shows them that you are visionary, right? You are looking at a specific and not so popular field that you could also make your own impact. So please don't look down on your field of study and say you don't stand a chance. As long as you have done good work and you can talk about your good work, go ahead. I think we'll have time to come to the comment section for now. So Blessing, I can hand over to you, but maybe we'll find time to look at the comment section and answer the questions.
All right. We are not even answering questions now. We're still going to come back to your questions. For me, let me just talk briefly. In networking essays, why do you want to study? Why do you want to study in UK? What is really, really concise and really important that you need to share in your essay is based on my experience. You need to talk about why do you want to go to the UK. You need to mention the courses, the university that you have chosen. Maybe 3. You have to choose 3 different universities, or 3. It can be 3 different. It can be the same university, different courses. It just has to be 3 together. You get. It's either you are choosing a course that is closely related from 3 different universities, or you choose a university that you have 3 courses that is related in that university. You just have to talk about 3 different things, at least 3 courses that you are choosing. And for me, if you have to talk about University of Sussex, I am actually studying from University of Sussex. What I talk about in my essay was like, University of Sussex is the #1 when it comes to QS global ranking, 77 consecutive times now when it comes to education and development space. And for this kind of reason, I actually choose the university. They are experts. And I mentioned the name of the experts that work with UNICEF, UNESCO in my department, and why I've actually want to go to that university, because I've read some of the articles. You can talk about it. You read some of their journals, and truly, to be honest, I've read some of their journals. So I used to, when I actually met my professor in person, I told, oh, so I know you before. I've read these particular journals and really interested. I've actually read some of their journals, and I feel like this is something that is very related to what I'm doing. I talk about it in my essays, and you can also talk about what else? Like maybe the school generally, why you choose the school, maybe because of the environment or because of different food or because of diversity. You need to mention all those things because it's really important. Diversity, different cultural background, meeting together here in UK. You need to mention that and most of the major things. So after the, sure?
I don't know. I just remember some points that may be useful for us before we go to the last essay, but sorry to interrupt if you are still on course.
Okay, no problem. You can go ahead.
Okay, so this may be like something very different from what everybody thinks. In information that people already know. 500 words go straight to the point. Like I've been able to review a few essays, and unfortunately I don't have more time to review more. But I see a lot of people just, let me use the word perambulating, go straight to the point. Now, yes, I'm attending world-leading institutions. Like when you look at public health, we are top in the world, LSHTM. LSC is top in the world when it comes to political science, social science, like ratings. But for me, I don't know of another person. I know I'm emphasizing on the word for me. I didn't see that as the most important part of why I'm going to that school. So I took that out. I was not concerned about the ranking. I was concerned about the content I'm getting and also the network I will get to make and also like the faculty in my program. So I'm trying to say in essence that imagine that at least 70,000 people applied and everybody is saying that they want to go, for example, let's say 50,000 wants to come to LSHTM and they're saying the reason why they want to go is because it is top in the world. What makes yours different? So the essence of doing robust research on your reason why you want to study in the UK is to bring the distinguishing factor to your essay. Like when they are reading it, they should see that this person is like, has done research and is really driven towards this course, towards this school, towards the UK, and the person has prepared themselves for this opportunity, connecting it to your career interest. Because you are saying that, I want to go to, for example, blessing University of Sussex to study maybe development studies because this program, this supervisor, this course content, and it connects to my future ambition. Now, another important thing you need to know is that Chevening has his bragging rights of why the UK. So when they're asking you why UK, they are saying, why do you want to study in the UK and nowhere else? Remember when Blessing started this question, he was asking all of us, why the UK, right? Or why Chevening? So the bane of Chevening is that they want to know, why are you pursuing a scholarship to study in the UK and nowhere else in the world? So you are trying to massage their ego to say, if it's not UK, it's nowhere else because of XYZ, and not just curricular interest. Could also be sociocultural interest, like Itofah has said. Could also be maybe you want to explore, you want to immerse yourself in other things. You understand? So remember that this is a competition and you really need to bring all your best foot forward. Bring everything that makes you stand out, everything that makes, for some people, they're talking about maybe a new innovation lab in their university. They're talking about how the course content is designed in a way that you can select it. Before you know those nitty-gritty details, it means you have done research. It means you have gone to the school website, you have read up, you have soaked in. They're talking about a project that the supervisor is doing that's connected to what they are doing in Nigeria. Do you get my point? So I'm saying this to say, leave surface level information. Leave what you just see on Wikipedia about your school. Go to your departmental website, read it up. look at what do you think that this information is not so common and it makes me stand out. And about the UK, about, one last point I want to say is, you see your leadership essay, your networking essay, you're studying the UK essay. One thing you need to connect is, how is Chevening an enabler to that goal? So there's no way you can tell us all these plenty stories and you're not telling us how Chevening would ensure that you, for example, build your leadership skills further, build your leadership capacity further, and position you better to make more impact for leadership essay. Networking essay, you should be telling us at the end of all your stories how through Chevening you get to expand your network and you get to network also with the immense alumni that we have in the Chevening. And that's also one of the unique things about Chevening. Chevening has this very massive and resourceful alumni network. So you should be talking about how you plan to maximize and utilize that. Same thing with studying in the UK. So everything needs to connect with how Chevening would be an enabler for you through all the different sections of the essay. And yes, I know 500 words is small, but there's a reason why they are putting the word limits. They don't want unnecessary story. So you need to bring your best foot forward. You need to bring in fact, while you're writing, you should be saying, is this very important? This word I'm writing, this ABC, is it important? The most important information is what you need. All right, that's it.
That's very interesting. She has actually break it out, be concise, be straightforward. That is why it is 500. Recently I was actually reviewing one essay and the person was actually writing leadership essay, mentioned just one example, and the whole essay was about 250 words. I was like, are you sure you want to compete? Because 500 words is not even enough for the essay. Imagine you are writing 250 words, you are playing. So you just have to you have a lot. They believe that you have a lot to share. You have a lot to tell them. That is why there is interview section. So when you're writing your essays, trying to give them tip of this and aspect that will be making them feel like, oh, we need to see this person who actually wrote this essay. We need to meet him so that we can hear more from that person. So make your essay be very straightforward. That's one thing you need to do. And one thing I used to tell people is when you are writing application, either Chevening or any other essays, your first essay, like your first one must be captivating. If your first essay is not captivating, it might be very difficult to impress the reader in the end of the day. So one thing I used to tell people, actually, if I'm writing an essay for any application, I make sure that my first essay, I spent much time on my first essay because I want to, impress the reader so that he can finish reading up my essay. I want to impress the reader because when the reader is actually impressed, I've actually read some essay from different organizations, I've actually been a reader. So I understand when I read essays and I realize that from the first reading, I understand that this person has something to say. But if I read on your essay, I just feel like you're not impressing me from the beginning. I'll just read. This wasn't trash. I'll just give you mark. But on the other, when you impress me on the first one, I'll feel like, oh, this is interesting. I need to be very serious with this essay. Like you're bringing me something new that I need to understand. So you need to make your essay very hot. When I gave my essays to my mentor to read, he told me that he's not going to be having time. He'll get back to me maybe next week. And I just realized that immediately after 30 minutes, he just messaged me, he said, "Blessing, I finished reviewing your essay." I said, "Oh, really? But you say you are not having time, that you are going to be having my time next week." He said, "Yes." He said, "You just open your essay that you just want to glance through and he has to finish it." That is what essay means. When you give people your essay and they say, let's just glance through, it's just glancing through and you have actually captured the person, the reader at, you want to finish. That is how your essay should be like. That is what you should be aiming to write about. So moving to the last one, which is career plan essay, which is one of the most important aspects of the essay because this is where Chevening, Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, all these people are coming in. They want to see what you have, what you plan for yourself. They want to see your plan. So in actually tackling this essay, for me, what you need to put into place is this particular approach, smart approach. I call it smart approach. It's actually disturbing me. Okay, smart approach. And what I mean by smart approach is the essay has to be very specific. X there. YM there has to be measurement, like measurable. It has to be measurable. The essays, the content of which you're writing about has to be measurable. And it has to be achievable. When you're writing an essay and you're saying things that, oh, this is your career plan, and it's not achievable, come on. It has to be achievable and it has to be realistic. When you are putting ideas together, you yourself check if you are giving these things for people to sponsor. Do you think this is realistic? Or you want to be the president in the next 5 years and you are still not having your master's degree? Do you think this is realistic? Like, those are the questions you need to ask yourself. Like, is this possible? Yes, it is possible. You can say you want to be the president in the next 5 years and still be the president. But you cannot tell me, how will you want to convince me that it is very realistic? So you have to be very realistic. And your time frame, like your timing, when you say, oh, I want to do this thing in my immediate, it can be immediate plan, it can be mid-term, maybe in the next 5 years, and it can be long-term, which can be 10, 15, 20 years. That one, it can be 10, 20 years. So that is a long time. So what are the goals that you set for yourself for your immediate plan after Chevening? What are the goals you want to achieve in your midterm, which is the intermediate, which can be in the next 5 years? And what are the goals you want to achieve in your long-term plan? And I think this is a type of essay whereby you need to like talk about, oh, the knowledge, when you're back, you are fully loaded with powerful network, with powerful knowledge, and you want to share this thing with people, you want to do this, you want to do that. It can be, maybe you want to come back to your place of work, trying to mention it, like, oh, I want to come back to my place of work, or you want to start looking for a job, trying to let them understand what is your immediate plan, what is your 5 years plans, what is your like 10, 15 years plan, which is a long time plan. So tell them about it. So I'll be calling on Dr. Itofah to actually shed light on what he actually thinks about this particular essay.
Yeah, I actually wanted to hear Goodness's career plan because I know that it's straight to WHO. We're talking WHO. But so my own career plan, I didn't do all this. I've also looked at, so I think in the past couple of 1 month, I can't count how many essays I've looked at. There's only one girl's essay that I looked at that I said, if this girl doesn't get it, her chances are really close. Because everything you guys have said, she was so specific, on point. I said, this girl is gone already. You know, so I didn't use long-term, short-term, mid-term. What I did was I gave them my 1-year plan to my 20-year plan straight. I gave it to them. When I went to my interview, and the lady asked me, so tell us what's your career plan? I said in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years. What did you see, as Larry, your the virgin boy. No, they don't want virgin boy. Okay.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so the networking, that's why I feel like this approach is good and it works for differently for everybody, but this is the approach I used. When I went to the interview, I just said, oh, your career plan. I told them 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. I paused. I let it marinate. When it marinated, I said, in 20 years, this is what I want to do. They started clapping for me. So the of course you have a chance. Everybody has a chance. I said something when I started off. You are looking at us, you think we're superhumans. We are not different from anybody on this call. Oh. We just had the faith to step out. Because I remember my time too, when I was writing to scholars, nobody answered me. No Chevening scholar attended to me. And I'm going to say this, no Chevening scholar reviewed my essay. That's interesting testimony. I didn't have any scholar that reviewed my essay. The person that reviewed my essay is a non-scholar. One girl that reviewed my essay, and I'm here to the glory of God. What I want to say is that it starts first with an internal belief. Sorry, I'm taking a tangent from your question, but maybe we should establish that, and then goodness can add to this conversation. Establish have an internal disposition that, look, Chevening, I'm the type of person Chevening is looking for. Because you look at Goodness now, she's in London School of Economics. You look at Blessing is in University of, like, oh my gosh, what have I done? What have I did? What have I not done? Let me tell you something. If you first of all can capture it in your mind, this is not passport to aspire. but listen to me. If you can capture it in your mind, you will hold it in your hands. And I'll tell you my story and I'll stop here. So November last year when I applied, what I did was I went on like almost every day I was watching Chevening orientation video. I wanted to crystallize the image in my mind so strongly that I could be imagining it even when I wasn't on YouTube. I watched it. I started calling myself a Chevening scholar. My friends started calling me Chevening scholar because I embodied it, and then it went on. When it was time to apply, I gave it I told you guys 2 years of not applying, 2 years of monitoring, tracking, studying, researching, positioning, that kind of stuff. So long story short, I'm just going to encourage everybody on the call when it comes to the career part that really sit down and ask yourself, where do I see myself in the future? Be realistic with yourself. If you want to be president of Nigeria, with the way Nigeria is now, you can't be president in another 15 years. Except the miracle of God happens. So don't go and say stuff like that. If you want to go to the United Nations, don't say in 5-7 years I'll be in the United Nations. Except you have a pivotal network in your university or a research your university is working on, marry that inside. So I think that's my point. But I want to hear Goodness' career plan.
Why are you? Okay, Goodness, let's hear your career plan. Okay, before you actually hold the mic, for me, when I wanted to write my career plan, I didn't just start with my immediate plan. I started with my long-term career plan. I think, I just want to see, I want to make my essay different. I don't want to write the same way people write. I'm just looking how can I start my career plan? I just started with my long-term and I want to be minister or so in the next 20 years, and this is my plan. Now I now started moving my plan downward. Is the way we write, we want to you just have to be a critical thinker, think above the boss. It's not even beside the boss now. Just think what are these people thinking? Why can I think a better way? Why do I write my own in a better form? Trying to think something, and I want to be. I started with my long-term career plan. That this is my plan. This is what I aim to achieve in my long-term career plan. So, and I believe Chevening is going to help me to achieve it. So I now started moving. In my immediate plan, this is what I want to do. Immediately I'm done. So this is something you just have to make sure it's unique. So let me go to Goodness. Let's hear from our mama. Oh yeah, thank you.
All this whining me. Okay, before I respond, I just want to point out that I've gone through the comment section and we have some Chevening scholars who are not
yes.
So I noticed that Organiser is responding to some questions, and you guys can take his word for it because he's also a Chevening scholar and he's run a few of these kind of support sessions for people who are interested. Same with Deborah and I think I saw Elisha. So I just wanted to put that out that you can trust most of what they get to share with you in their own perspective. Then secondly, as Itofah has rightly said, the background is important, that sense of thinking through what you want to do. And that thing I think you should also have in mind is, you see, the two part that I think needs a lot of intensive research in essence, to the best of my knowledge, is your study in the UK and your career plan. Now, no pressure, guys. It's not every day you meet people that have a 20-year plan like Itofah. People like Itofah, they are the outliers. They are not the majority. They are the outliers. That's why they stand out. So if you are like many of us that only knows what is going to happen in the next 5 minutes, and we're not even sure if it is going to happen, you are fine. You exist. In fact, we are plenty like that. So my point is, it's okay for you not to have it all clearly thought out. But what Chevening is looking at is you are visionary, you are ambitious, and you are a worthy investment. Right? So that's why if you want to do the 5 years or 10 years plan, it's fine. But if you want to break it into just your immediate plan upon return, because that part is important, and your midterm, maybe midterm you can say in 5 years, but you don't have to specifically say how many years is midterm. If you want to specify how many years is midterm, fine. If you don't want to specify, it's fine. What I'm saying is there's no rule to these things. The most important thing is that you are telling them what you will do upon return, and you're telling them, okay, this is the vision I have for myself. maybe midterm and long term. Now, I'm going to start taking them one after the other. Like they have said, you have to be very smart. Smart, that is, you're specific and measurable, especially realistic. The most important thing in this part is the realistic part, right? But please note that you have to bring in a connection of how what you have studied will be relevant. Don't assume that they know it. Don't assume that your reviewer knows you. Don't assume that your reviewer should be able to connect. You have to show them. So in your immediate plan, you are telling them that as I have been able to acquire this education, and this is my aspiration, this is what I'll be doing upon return. Because one thing they are looking at is they want to see if from your essay, they can have that sense that you have the intention to come back to Nigeria. For those of you who joined late, maybe you missed where Blessing was saying, if you want to jackpot, Chevening is not for you. If you think that study routes is a way of jackpotting, Chevening may not be for you. Because Chevening is investing in you to get that high quality education or top level education and come back to develop your country. So they want to see if they can gauge your intentions to return back and contribute to the development of your country. So that immediate plan should tell them that this is the urgency and that sense of interest in returning back. So some of you may be working in an organization at present. How would the education you get help you to function better in the organization you are currently working with? Or maybe your NGO you are running, or maybe projects you have been thinking on working on, or maybe you want to explore a new organization or a new path, something realistic, something immediate. Do you get? So it is that you are building upon what is already existing. For me, I had to go, like I spoke about the organizations I'm currently involved in and how that experience and knowledge I have gotten would help me function better and contribute better, scale up the impact I'm making in the short term. Now, the second part of my midterm goal, I was looking at, okay, what are the institutions, public health institutions, health financing institutions in Nigeria? What are the gaps that exist nationally when it comes to health financing, health system strengthening? And how would my education help me to bridge that gap? Now, I can tell you that this part gave me a lot of research. And by the time the people who reviewed my essay saw it, they were like, goodness, I don't have any comment for your career plan because it is very detailed and research oriented. So I did those research. I did like a thorough research on these institutions. What would my education do to bridge those gaps that exist after I have studied? Remember, I've spoken about what I'm going to learn, what I think the content will be about. So when I've gotten those knowledge and skills and network, how will I utilize all that to fix the national health system or financing system in my country when it comes to health financing, health policy, and all of that? So that was like a midterm goal. And trust me, guys, I did not have to go to do rocket science about it. It's just most of the information you have at your go with the internet, right? I know I had to like speak to a few persons to get the real content or what's the situation at hand. That period, there was a time I was actually going through a LinkedIn post and I was seeing something related to some of my research, and I'm like, okay, this shows that I'm in line. Now, the long-term goal, see, we have to be very realistic with ourselves. Chevening is looking for leaders. Chevening is looking for people that they will invest in, and in the next 10 years, 20 years, they are so proud that this is somebody that we invested in to at least be part of their success story. Among the Chevening Alumni Network, we have people who have become presidents, people who have become ministers, people who are like becoming CEOs, who are working in like 500 Fortune organizations. I mean, top level people. Now, impact is relative. People who are doing like pockets of impact in their communities are as laudable as those who are maybe working in high level organizations. But my point is, Chevening wants to see how ambitious you are. So if you are saying that you want to work in the African Union, you want to work in the FAO, I mean, WHO, World Bank, any of those institutions, you are not out of place. Because, like I said, it's not just like maybe in the next 5 years or things. They want to see how you're already thinking of your long-term goal and you want to scale up your career. Things you could be looking at is, okay, what are the global institutions, regional institutions that I can be involved in after I have been able to accelerate my career in the long term? What are are they currently doing? Now, you're not just mentioning, remember that you have to be able to bring rich content. You are telling them, this is what the organizations are doing. This is what my course of study that I have acquired would contribute to this organization. If possible, mention the department. I went as detailed as mentioning the department research I've done. I spoke about what they are doing and how I want to contribute to it, how I want to shape the narrative in terms of ensuring that there is this holistic perspective, and I can also bring in my unique sociocultural experience as an expert from Nigeria, from Africa. Do you get my point? So you're not just mentioning where, you're also mentioning who they are, what they do, and how your education will be relevant, how your skills you have built in the short term and the long term will be relevant. Also, very importantly, you need to connect your mid-term or long-term goal to what the world is pivoting towards in your field. In the tech field, is fast evolving. Like if you are seeing an innovation today, tomorrow someone else is bringing someone else or some other organization. Like we are talking about artificial intelligence, and like it's really revolutionizing the world. So my point is, what are the current trends in your field, and what are the consensus currently around it? For example, we have the Sustainable Development Goal. What does it hope to do? How would your course of study help to achieve the SDGs by 2030? Because Chevening FCDO is part of, it is also working towards achieving that goal. We have the, I think, the African Union, there's this 2060 goal about the African Union and all of that. In your field, some of you are in the agricultural field, there's a global consensus or a target. Maybe you're in reproductive health, you're in engineering. What are those consensus that different parts of the world have come together, including Nigeria and Great Britain? How would your education in the long term contribute to it? Mention it. Don't assume that they know about it. Right? I know in the education space, there are several of such goals that have been set globally. So bring in those enriching information so that they see that you have vision. It doesn't have to be immediate. Like, it doesn't have to be that you have it all thought out, right? It's okay if clarity is a journey. You are still processing it, but you can make research with the information you have now and package it in such a way that it shows that you are visionary, you are ambitious, you are dreaming big, and you are also realistic with it. So those are the points I think would really help you as you write this essay, because it's not great that you start well and you end weak, like you have a very strong essay from your leadership, and by the time we get to your like plans when you're done, like your career plan, it's weak. It may just maybe reduce your chances. Just try to make everything strong, all your essays, make it strong as much as possible. And it's okay if you're just doing your own thing, it's not loud. It's okay. Whatever you're doing, you're unique in your own way. Don't allow anybody's achievement or level of visibility to make you feel less of yourself, right? I know some of my current Chevening scholars that you may not know them, but like when we go to network with each other and I learn about what they are doing in their own quiet space, they are doing amazing and they still got in, right? So there's no rule to this thing. Nobody is saying you have to be as popular as this person or less popular. No, there's no rule to it. It's just how you're able to communicate and share your story. And then they see that, okay, you align with the goal. Okay, guys, I think that's about it from my end.
All right. Thank you. Goodness. She has actually, break out the point. She has actually scattered the skeleton of the essay. And that is the good thing about it. When you're writing your career plan and say, you just have to be visionary. You don't have to be CEO of anything. I used to tell you, you don't need to be CEO. You don't need to have no profit. You don't need to be the lousy person on social media or great influencer. No, you just have to show them that, you are the right person. You know what you are doing. You just have to be very specific, authentic in your essays. And that is what they want to see. They want to see you as someone who is very ambitious person, who is very visionary when you are writing your career plan. And one thing you need to take into consideration is how is the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office is going to come in when you're writing your career plan, you need to lay emphasis on that. You need to talk about how these people you want to contribute with them, how they want to come here, how you want to collaborate, how you want to work together. How is this thing aligned with what they are doing in your country? Oh, mine particularly when I actually write about it was they're actually having one program in education, which is they call it playing. They've done so many projects in educational space in my own space. So I talk about so many, like 2 of them, and what they are currently doing in your space. You need to mention it. I talk about education project or something. So GAP or something. So you need to talk about how this thing relates to what you want to do and study, and when you're coming back to Nigeria, how you think you can actually relate or link up with exactly what they are doing. Because if you are, I think there is one question that used to pop up like, oh, if they don't have anything they are doing in your country related to your feed, how can you going to be doing that? There is no point. I don't think if you look at all the SDGs, there's no way you will not see like 1 or 2 things that they are currently doing in your space. So you is just to go online and do your research properly. Yeah. Also, before I moved, I think I actually want to say thank you to Madam Layo, who have actually helped us to publicize her work on UKInNigeria space. I don't know if she's online with us, because I saw someone live, but I'm not sure if she's the one.
Yeah, I
If
did
she's
see
the
someone, but I'm not sure if she's the one. I was trying to check the full name, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, she is. She actually messaged me, but I think she said that she may not be able to speak. So you guys just let it go.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
Okay,
Madam Lyra is with us. We celebrate you, ma.
okay. Oh, that is very interesting. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate that, because also we have other Cheveners on point. We have Ogeyi Odey, and we have Deborah. I don't know if I got the name correctly. If I don't, I can just I'll just give you 1 minute. Just say hi to everyone. Just one minute. I will call Ogeyi before we now move to our question and answering section.
Blessing. Good evening,
Yeah.
good afternoon, everybody, and good evening. Am I saying hi, or because you said that she just 1 minute to say hi?
Yeah, you want to say something, you can just say it. Okay.
Okay. Well, nothing much. I think you guys have already touched on everything. But basically, I'll say you have to. I always say this every time. You have to own this journey yourself. It's your responsibility. So you have to own the journey yourself. Put in a lot of work, and you should also have your own conviction as well. So you've heard a lot of things from these scholars. So you have to decide which of them is exactly for you, because there's so much information and so much resources available for you out there, and you can't actually utilize everything. And so you just have to just pick what you know is best for you and try to manage your information. I think that's basically it from me. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, let's have Deborah too. I think Deborah, she's online. She's still online. Please, Deborah, if you're online, kindly unmute yourself. Yes.
I'm not sure Deborah is still here.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Is there any other chef now that is there?
Maybe Alicia. I think he was around, but it's possible he has left. He did come in earlier.
Okay, no problem. I don't think we have any other.
David.
Okay, David.
Yeah, King David.
I have some questions. Okay, David, let's hear from King David now, and then Alicia.
Yeah.
Good to have you, Alicia. Can you just say something? No, I think we should move to the question and answer section. Then we can call on the other Cheveners to actually answer some questions. I think that will be okay.
Sorry, I just came on WhatsApp now, and I saw what Blessing Tunde posted. So I just hopped in. I have just 5 minutes. I don't know if I can just use 5 minutes and go, because I have assignments on me.
Okay, all right, no problem.
All right. Thank you, everyone. My name is David. As you all know, and I can see my wonderful bosses in the house. So within 5 minutes, I don't know what my other great scholars have thought you. So I'm just here to buttress you. So starting with your leadership essay, there's something called statistic. Okay, in Chevening, you have to know of when, where, how, who, how many. Chevening essay is about statistics. Who did you meet? When? How? Where? And I know you've been taught the STAR method, the STAR approach, everything. But the value of you telling them this, the when, what year, what date, what month, why did you do it? What's the result? Then who did you meet? Who did you approach? Whose problem did you solve? Leadership. If I were to be you, I'll give you maybe like two professional, reference or references, and maybe one academic. If you don't have three, but advisably, I will tell you, give you like three references. If it's not possible, give it two. And remember your handing. Your handing must be catchy. The person that will mark your Chevener essay, I don't know if you know about that, is a former Chevener who has seen it also, who has witnessed everything you want to say. So your handing must be catchy, and go and find leadership technical words. Every essay in Chevener has technical words. When it comes to leadership essay, you have I motivated, I inspired, I led them. Okay, I was champion. Yeah, so I champion. Thank you. So you have to have the technical jargon of each essays. And the ending must be catchy. That ending is very, very important. That ending must be catchy, because the mark that you'll be awarded in the first reference, second reference, might not be enough. But the ending you put, I remember Chevening said no quotes. Don't put any quotes. Forget about the quotes. But the ending must be very, very catchy. Work on your heading. And I don't know if my bosses here has given a sample of catchy heading. That's on the leadership. On the networking now, the networking, Chevening is a spark. When you know you have done the right thing, you feel it within yourself. And it's a thread. When you know you have done the right thing, your leadership essay will link to your networking essay. There'll be a thread. It will connect. You will feel it. It will connect. You feel it within yourself. So there's a way that you can attach the thread of your leadership essay to your networking essay, and it will even form to your school, to your career essay. They will form a pathway, and they will link with each other. So in your networking, you have to work more on that when, where, how, and look at the weights. Look, last year it was 11,000. Our set was 14,000. The next set might be 17,000, because it has almost 3,000 people increment every year. So you have to find a weighty networking essay, a weighty one. Don't only be shallow. I think they said it was only 0.4% of people that applied. That's what I picked up. So your networking essay must be weighty. What were you doing all through last year? Whom have you networked with? What organization? What in what aspect? Is it socially? Is it professionally? Is it academically? In what area? Chevening loves government workers, and it loves NGO. Note that. That's the fact about it. Chevening work.
1 minute.
Oh my God. Okay. Your school.
We cannot wait to see King David's session.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming on board. I think we have one other person who actually will say something. Is there any other person? I think, is he online? Hello, are you there?
That's Elisha. I saw him around a while ago, and he's no more here.
No more
Yeah,
here.
I'm around.
Okay.
Great.
Greetings to you all scholars and viewers. I'm sorry for coming in late, but I joined earlier and a friend of mine visited and I saw him off. I'm sorry for coming back late. So I've not heard so much in the discussion from other scholars, but basically they've said it all just to encourage the aspirants not to be discouraged, because looking at the number of applications received and the percentage selected each year is somehow discouraging. Out of over 70,000 applications, just 15 got selected and stuff like that. So you should just focus on your visions and work harder and harder, and make sure you align your essays based on all the advices you've received from the past speakers, and just have it within yourself, be positive and optimistic. I will make it this year. Like, my wife was discouraging me when I was applying. I told her that if they are picking one person from Nigeria, I'm the one. And here it comes. So just be positive about it, and it will become part of your success story. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for coming on board. Now we just move quickly to the question and answer section. Please, if you have any question, kindly put your hands and we can just call on you. Just be very concise with your question because we don't have much time about your time. So, okay, Okoli, kindly unmute yourself and just ask a question. Okoli, you are not muted. I think Okoli is not there. Who is
Okay, sorry. Greetings, everybody. My question is just on the work experience. I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, my question is on the work experience. Sorry, our school we graduated from. I really want to know, how do we input what we graduated with? Like, if you graduated with a 2-1, is it you write the 2 and a 1, or you write your CGPA? You write what you graduated with your CGPA. That is number one question. Then my number two question is, I really want to know, if you're working in an NGO, let's say you are volunteering for an NGO, and you still volunteering even up to this time that the application is ongoing. My question is, how do you write, the end date, when would that be? Is it that you'll be right, the end date will be 7th of November when the application is closing, or the day you are submitting? Let's say I'm submitting on the 4th of November. Is me, I'll be writing, maybe let's say I started the volunteering in September 2021. Will I be writing September 2021 to 4th of November 2023 when I submitted my application? That is number two. Then number three is concerning the networking AC. There's this part of the question that I don't really understand. There's something that they wrote there. They said, please do not duplicate the information you have entered in the work experience and education section of this form. So I really want to get clarification on this aspect. Please do not duplicate the information you have entered on the work experience and education section of this form. It's confusing for me. Thank you.
All right, that's very interesting. I think I will allow other person to ask his question so that we'll just answer. Like, we'll call another person. Okoli. Okay. Okoli has okay, you can just you can have it. I think we are going to be taking a question like 2 people at a time. So 2 people. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think Abacha. Okay.
Good evening by Nigerian time. My question goes to us. So for those who already have a master's, let's say like those in computing field, you have a general computer science master's, and this time around, you feel like you don't have adequate knowledge and then you want to go into a specific field, let's say artificial intelligence or data sciences. Is there a room for someone who already have a master's and probably that master's was even like through a scholarship and then wants to go and narrow into a vertical and become so good at it? And then that's one. Then the second question is this. Okay, if you are a founder at the moment, let's say you are a founder, you are working on some stuff already, why applying for this? And then you want to go there and then your funded organization is still running on. How are you going to tell them, like in between this interval, what are you going to be doing? And then after you come back, how will you put it, like to show that progressively your organization is going to be running and you're going to be making impact to relate all this into your long-term plan and short-term plan? Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you get the questions.
This is your number 2 question. I don't know if someone else gets it. I did not get the second question clearly.
Okay. The second question is this. You are working on some projects as a founder already. And probably you got funds, you are funded, like, and then you are going to be going for this program and probably you're going to be spending 12 months in the UK during this course of this scholarship. How will you write your essays in such a way that this is not going to stop your work? You are going to continue making progress as you are still in the UK, and then relate that at the same time with your long-term plan, or how you are going to be taking that your enterprise or your non-profit organization to the future, like the 20 years plan, the 5 years plan, all of that.
They go give me rice. Please give me later.
Please, someone is talking. Who is Mary? Beg. Okay, yeah. I think your question, Itofah, do you want to go with the first person question?
All right, so if I understand the question he asked, that's like, I'll take the latter part. I think it's just your ability to be able to communicate. Chevening isn't bothered if you're working on a project, you're not working on a project. Just talk about, in fact, saying you received a grant is even a plus for you already. We received $10,000 from USAID. We're currently working on this top cycle project. We're currently on its first phase. My time in the UK studying XYZ. By learning this will contribute to the implementation strategy on this. So it's even a benefit for you. So it doesn't affect you in any way.
All right, that's a very good answer. So Chevening will not ask you. It's just depend on how you can manage your study and your this. That one, it depends on you. Nobody is going to ask you for that one. And it's a plus when you actually discuss with the panel. Oh, you already have a grant too. So that's a very good one. It's not going to disturb you at all with your application. And for someone with a master's degree, of course, you can apply for Chevening. I think I've seen one of our Chevening scholars there that he's even running his PhD before he actually got Chevening scholarship. So he already has master. So you can have your master, you just have to be able to defend it when they ask you why do you want to have another master's degree. So it's not a crime if you have a master's degree in one particular and you feel like, oh, this is what I want to do. I feel like I'm not doing that thing again. It is not depend on you to actually defend that second master's degree with Chevening. So I think that's answer your question. So someone that was asking you how is it going to write 2-1 in your application, I think it's just 2 normal Roman figure and small I like that. I think that is 2-1 when you're writing your application. And also you can also include your CGPA over, put it slash over something when they're asking. So I think that's a question. Why do we have to duplicate? I think I did not get that one clearly. Okay, you mentioned about a particular essay, like they asked you that you should not duplicate your work experience. I think what they're asking you is just like, don't go and paste your work experience details, what you've done, your and put it on that particular essay. Just trying to write your own essay, like a new complete essay. That's what they are telling you to do. So don't be distracted. It's that you should not duplicate your work experience there. So don't be distracted. So to the next person, I'll just call on Omoniyi Caleb. Omoniyi Caleb and Abasiofon Moses. Two of you just be prepared. Okay. Omoniyi, to you.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My first question, I would like to direct it to the moderator, because I've tried to check through your profile on that this career suite, from microbiology to international education, and it's very similar to what I'm going to do so you'll be able to answer better. So I also have electronics, and I'm based on my voluntary work and involvement in international organization. So I want to divert or switch into the international education and develop studies too. So I would like to first I want to switch. How do we deal with the issue of references? So do we still get to pick our reference, or we just do the two references from the work experience, so the academic and one from the organization? So that's one. Then two, in situations whereby maybe for the leader.
Sorry, your voice is actually breaking. We cannot hear you clearly. I hardly get your first question. Victor. Victor, your voice is actually breaking. I hardly get what you are saying. I think the first question you asked was, I mean, I transitioned from I'm not from microbiology, I transitioned from biochemistry to international education and development. So what I did was just that you asked that how do we write our reference? I got my reference from my lecturer, my supervisor in school. So I don't think you will have to be worried too much about reference. What they just want is just write one academic reference, and the other one can be from any other person. It can be from your place of work or anything. So if you like, you can provide 3 references. If you like, you can provide 2. So just have one from academic. You can write from, my supervisor actually wrote me one. So in school, so it doesn't stop you from submitting a reference from that. So that's what I got from your question. So the second person, I think I can now hear your voice very well. Your voice was actually breaking, so you can just put your question in the chat box. Let's move to the second person, please.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you. It's a blessing for this initiative. So I'm currently on the Chevening application portal right now, and I'm seeing a question under the upload document and submit. Do you consider yourself to be part of any minority or disadvantaged group in your country? So I don't know if that particular question influences, should I say, the way your application will be rated. Because if I should select yes, it now goes ahead to ask about sexuality, religion, tribe, and all of that. Don't know if you got the question.
Okay, that question is like, are you from majority or minority tribe? So the question is, are you from the majority or from the minority aspect maybe in your country, wherever you are? So you just put it there. What's the big deal about the question? I don't get. Just answer the question. If you are from the majority, put it there, you are from the majority. If you are not from the majority, then you are from minority. I don't think question has to do with your application like that. I don't think so. Just answer it accordingly to how it's suited, how it actually suits you. So that's what I was saying. What's the second? Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't.
Yeah, as someone asked from the channel, is academic reference compulsory? Can it be 2 professional references? I think academic reference is compulsory. One, you have to have one academic reference, and any other one can be from any professional references. I think you have to have one academic reference. So, okay. So the next person we have, who is this person that is serious enough now? Okay, I'll just call I think Victor Emmanuel, you've spoken now, and Moses. I'll just call.
No, Victor Emmanuel has not actually spoken.
Okay, Victor Emmanuel and
I'm here to
Ofuana.
speak.
Victor Emmanuel and Ofun Ani Raphael, something. Sorry if I got the name wrong. Please, you can just have the floor one after the other. Victor Emmanuel, you have the floor now. Is the network for my side? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes,
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Please permit me to speak. Oh, please, I want to speak. Just a short question.
Okay, we have Dr. Jimla raising up his hand. Dr. Jimla, please, you can have the floor.
My hand, bro?
I'm still raising my hand, please. Stanley, please.
Please, can you unmute can you just mute yourself, please?
Yes, hello.
We have less than 5 minutes. We have less than 5 minutes.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Dr. Jimla, you have the floor. Dr. Jimla, you have the floor.
Okay, so first I would like to thank you for organizing this webinar. It has been really helpful and impactful. Second, my question is as regards to the references. I'm not sure if it's coming a bit premature, but I believe having a good reference is like one of the prerequisites. So the thing I'm having issue is how exactly do you guide your references into writing like stellar reference letter? I think for me, it's been easy to actually get a lot of information about the essays, what is required from the essays, but there isn't as much information out there where I've checked so far on how to get a reference letter that's good, that's straight to the point, you know, that will make you stand out and shine that light for you. So that light on you. So any tips, I believe, on that will be really helpful for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I've actually addressed this question that you need to get a reference from academic one at least, and any other one from your professional background. And you can get all the two from the academic, because my reference, I got my reference from, both reference was from an academic. I got one from my supervisor, and I also got one from one of my lecturer in school. So it can be from your lecturer, it can be from, you just have one academic and any other professional. I think Itofah, I don't know how you actually did yours.
So first of all, academic reference is very important. Well, I go one academic reference and one professional reference. So it's important that you have, I don't know, but there's really no specific, but get one academic and one non-academic. I think it's specified, one academic, one non-academic. But please, so in your reference writing, especially those who make it to interview stage, there's a specific way you are supposed to write your reference. Am I right, Blessing? Chevening will email you the specific way on how you're supposed to write your reference. So your problem now is not reference. It's until you make it to interview stage. That's when they would ask you for your reference, right, bro?
Yeah, I think for me, I think I submitted my reference with my application. I already have my reference before my application.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just submitted everything.
Yeah,
together.
So that option is available. However, when you make it to interview stage, they would ask you again for reference letter. So if you don't have your reference letter now, there's no problem. Go ahead and submit the first application. Once you make it to interview stage, a window will be given to you for you to submit your reference letter if you haven't submitted it. So make the time now to build those relationships.
Oh, okay. Thank you. But for me, the particular issue I'm facing is it will be very hard for me to get an academic reference. I school in a country where currently there is a war going on. So even though now I'm engaging in a residency program, which is a sort of further studies, and I've just started, so I don't know, maybe in the next few months, it will be a bit easier for me to actually get someone who's willing to provide a reference letter. If I have to stick to that definition of an academic reference, it will prove near impossible. That's why I'm asking, like, is it really a strict yes academic professional, or can you provide both professional or
Amina, just
something
because of
between the
time,
two?
just because of time. So
Yeah.
I want to say that do not worry. If currently in October or November 2023, you don't have a way of reaching out to your academic referee, it's okay to put up professional referees or somebody at your internship. If it changes between now and when you get to the interview stage, that is, if you are able to reach your lecturers or somebody who can speak to your personality academic wise, then you can upload that. My point, I didn't submit my referee until after the interview, right? That's to tell you that that was not a part of the requirement that they used in shortlisting me for the interview, but it was compulsory for me to submit my referee after my interview. So I'm saying that yes, it's okay if your peculiar situation is that you cannot reach out to your maybe your lecturers or your supervisors now. Put the names of people who can speak to your work or your academics at present. And if you get to the interview stage, you can communicate this, and also between now and then, look for a means of reaching out to those people and update that information. You can actually update some information as the application cycle progresses up until if you get shortlisted for the interview. So again, that should not be what you should be worrying so much about, but begin to think of how you can reach them between now and when the interview shortlisting would happen, if you also think it's very important.
Yeah, there's one question I want to trying to answer. There's someone asking if can we share an application without getting admission. Yes, you don't have to have an admission before you apply for Chevening. You can just put it there that you've applied for this thing and you're waiting for response. You can just put it there that you are going to apply. So it does not mean your essay is the most important aspect, and that is what they want to look into. Once you meet the eligibility criteria, they want to dive into your essay. So every other things have a particular closing date that they give to, or every other thing. Your references, your admission letter, there's a particular range of dates that you have to bring them, although they are compulsory, but it is not compulsory now, like immediately. You don't have to have them. I don't have any admission when I submit my application. So just tell them then that you are writing or you are applying for your admission, so till you get feedbacks. Even now, I don't even think you can apply for schools now. Maybe I don't know if some schools have actually opened an application for
some schools
next year.
Some scholars have even gotten admission, but please prioritize. Like, it's not the most important thing you have to do now. Like Blessing has said, I didn't get my school admission until after my interview or so. So, like, just prioritize. The most important thing is for you to meet all the requirements on the current application form and have a very good, strong essay to put forward.
Okay, that's a very good thing. So, next person, I will just call on Goshuko Stanley, and I think Mary has been raising up. Mary, you can just have the floor quickly.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm really happy to be here. Please, I just want to ask a question. What are the necessary requirements for this application, for this Chevening scholarship application? What are the necessary requirements?
I think your question is not really specific. There is, just go to the Chevening website and go and see the necessary requirement, because there is a lot of requirements that you need to meet up. I can't even remember one. So I think most of them, they write it on the Chevening website that you have to have two or something. But I don't feel like it's a really requirement. I think most importantly, what Chevening is looking out for is having a 2 years experience, of which is speculated on the application, 2 years of experience, and you are able to have admission to the UK schools. It can even come from Polytechnic. Yeah, I've seen people that come from Polytechnic, that is scholar, having HND. So what Chevening actually wants is just that you are able to have an admission in the UK universities. So, and that make you qualify. So, but if you don't have admission, at the end of the day, even if you get a scholarship, you will not be able to utilize it. So you just need to have an admission, and work experience is very, very important. It has to be 2 years. And there's a way they calculate it. I think it's 40 hours per week, maximum of 40 hours per week. I think when you are filling that form, you can just feel like maybe 30 hours or 35 hours per week. Just make sure you do not exceed the number of hours per week being speculated. So I think the maximum is 40 hours per week. And any other requirement, references is very important. You have to submit 2 references, 1 academic reference and 1 other professional reference. So you have to have your transcripts, you have to have your certificates, and you have to have admission, and your passports is very, very important. You have to have a passport. What other requirements? I think that's all. That's what I could remember now. So those are the very, very important things that you have to do.
Guys, because of time, we have really stretched ourselves, and this is a very busy period for many of us who are studying. If you still have a question and your hand is up, just put your question in the comment section and we'll respond to it. For some people, your question has already been answered at the beginning of the session. We started this 2 hours ago. So the session is being recorded, and at the end of the session, Blessing will be sharing the recording. So you can still go over it again and listen and see if your question has been responded to. So some questions are things that you should do your personal research on. For example, what is the requirement? This is what Chevening website is about. Chevening has, these are the things you should be checking on the website because of the time constraint. Literally every single minute counts for us with like deadlines, assignments, and our own personal schedule for the week. I'll be able to respond to a few questions in the chat box that I have seen. And I also want to advise those who are doing like reviewing essays for themselves. Be sure you trust to say what you're sharing your essay with. Remember, this is a competition between you and every other person who's applying from across the world. So be sure that you trust to say what you're sharing your essay with, and also be true and honest with each other in the support you are providing. And please try not to do plagiarism. For some people, you would go on maybe ChatGPT or AI tools to write your essays for you. They will catch you. They'll know you're not the one that writes it, and you're going to disqualify yourself. So please avoid that part. Share your story as genuinely and authentically as possible. I remember Blessing making mention to this. I do not think we should be seeing any hands up. We should just be seeing questions in the chat box and we can respond to those questions. Anybody whose hand is still up should just please put your question in the chat box. In the next 2 or 3 minutes, we get to respond to those. And if your question is not still responded to, please watch the recording from the beginning to the end and you'll find response to it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to quickly chip in that someone just picked me, one scholar also picked me and shipped me that you don't have to have an academic reference. It can be from a professional, like both of your references can be from a professional one. So I think this is what we have been looking for. So they say your reference can be from professional. You don't have to worry yourself that you have to have one academic reference. But like my mentor used to say that this is the time you need to build connection with your lecturers, most especially those that are still undergraduates, because you might not know, you might still need them, you might still need their reference. So start building connection with them, trying to, my supervisor were very close. We are very close, like we talk most of the time. And I can wake him up. So I need a reference in the middle of the night, he's going to write it for me. So build connection with your supervisor.
You guys should not wake your lecturer in the middle of the night to write reference letter. Yeah, I'm just that's on the light.
Please don't wake your lecturer up. But my supervisor is like a close friend to me, so we are very close, and I can wake him up like I used to say. Like I can wake him up, say, "Also, I need a reference." He will never say no to me because we are very, very close. And how do you bridge your relationship with your lecturer, with your supervisor? That actually matters too when you need them. So it depends on you. So don't go and fight your supervisor, or say you want to finish, and because you might actually need them to provide you referencing. So don't go and fight them. Just an advice anyway. So any question, you want to close this down by 4, like in the next 1 minute. So please. So I actually want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you.
I'm sorry, Blessing. I want to just quickly respond to some questions in the chat box because I'm not sure I can type a response to everybody. Somebody said, please, I believe the transcript and certificate can be submitted after. What I did in my transcript is I had an unofficial transcript and I submitted that. I didn't have my certificate at the point I was applying for the Chevening scholarship. So it's not 100% compulsory requirement. If you have a certificate already, fine. But you need to have a proof to show that you are done with school. So any form of proof you have that can still be updated later, maybe when you get to the interview stage or after the interview stage, you can submit that. So that can help. Then there's a question about, I studied English in my undergraduate studies, but I'm into waste management. How can my lecturer reference help me? So the most important thing about the referee is to talk about how you as a student doing your undergraduate study was diligent. It's not just about how you studied English or what your level of capability in terms of English as a course of study is. They want to speak about your academic diligence and commitment, everything that makes you a student, because this scholarship is about educational advancement. So it's okay if your referee knows you when you're studying English and that has changed. The essence of having a professional reference is to talk about your field of study at present. So they would definitely give a complimentary work. I remember that my referees, even my lecturer, he didn't just talk about my academic accomplishment or maybe my grades and my knowledge. They also spoke about the work I've been doing that complements my course of study. They spoke about how I was able to bring a lot of tangible impact to the department during my course of study. So all that makes it up. They spoke about my leadership experience. They talk about all of that. So it's not just that it's different field. Should I merge both certificate and transcripts as one document? It depends on you. If you want to bring them together, that's great. I can't remember if certificate was a different requirement and transcript was a different requirement. But if just based on what they're requesting, if they ask certificate separately or post certificate separately, they're asking for certificate and transcript, you can put them together. Just ensure that you're reading the requirement clearly. IELTS is not compulsory for Chevening application, but the school you are applying to may require you to write IELTS. So it's two different things. Chevening does not require you to have an IELTS certificate or proof. But if you have to gain admission into your university in the UK and it's compulsory that you should have written IELTS, that's something to consider. There are many universities in the UK that waive off IELTS as a requirement for people who are from Nigeria because you studied in English and you're also from an Anglophone country. So you need to do your research to know if the school is a requirement or if they can waive it up, or if you can even email them and say, I don't want to write IELTS because I studied in English, I passed English, and whatever justification you have. Many universities are open to that conversation, and a lot of waivers are going on IELTS as a requirement. I have an undergraduate, but I don't have both the transcript and certificate for my postgraduate diploma study. Can I just upload my? Yes, you can upload your undergraduate certificate. That's fine. It's not compulsory to put up the postgraduate diploma study. I think the postgraduate diploma study may be relevant when you are applying to the university you want to gain admission into. That depends on what their requirement is. And some of those things are also something you can discuss with the admission board. You can email them and get more clarification on all those requirements. but Chevening is not like something you must have it all at present. Okay, I think I've been able to go through all the questions. You can't even submit any essay that exceeds 500 words count. You have to work within the 500 word count. If it's beyond 500 word count, you can't submit it. The portal will not even allow you, except they'll cut out some part of your essay. So on your own end, run it through the word count check and ensure that everything you are writing is exactly 500 words or less. Okay, over to you, Blessing. I think I'm able to go through those.
Yeah, thank you. I think we are bringing this to an end. Let me use this opportunity to say a very big thanks to Goodness, Itofah, and myself, and other
Blessing. Sorry, somebody is dragging me in the chat box. Ugochukwu is dragging me. Sorry, Ugochukwu, I'm not ignoring your question. He said, please answer my 2 questions about unofficial transcript before submitting my Chevening. I've spoken about unofficial transcripts.
Yes, no.
Okay, maybe you didn't understand me. It's okay if you have unofficial transcript and you want to use that on your Chevening application.
I use unofficial transcripts. So.
Exactly, I use that. Then he said, my tutorial adding as my work experience. Yes, if you conducted tutorials, it counts as a work experience.
Work experience,
right? Yeah. Remember that Chevening is not going to go to the school that you did the tutorial to ask them, were you a tutorial teacher or not? This does not mean that you should lie. Be authentic, be true. You did the work. Boldly talk about the work you have done, calculate the hours it contributed to. So don't downplay any effort as long as it is work that you did and it is tangible and you are being honest and true about it, because that's what they're looking out for.
Yeah, I think we have actually answered all the questions and the chat box. If you are doing your hair white, it definitely does not disturb you. You can apply, it does not disturb you. And any other question? I think
I see so many questions about reviewing essays. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not available for reviewing essay. My God, I have a lot of things to read today like this. I'm finishing this thing, I'm running to the library. Some people are waiting for me already. So I don't have time, to be honest. I don't have time to review any essay, please. I think you should give it to people that already finished.
I want to put a caveat to it, because this same thing happened to me when I was applying for the Chevening, and I saw all these people, they are proud, they are too proud. Small essay they cannot review, they'll leave my me on red on LinkedIn. That's like, what is it? Let me tell you the truth. The people who reached out on Chevening is closing in less than 7 days. You can't be reaching out to somebody to reach out to review your essay, except you're doing 3rd or 4th review. Personally, I've said yes to a lot of people. I've reviewed their essays, so the people who came to me early enough, I fit them into my schedule. So at this moment, I don't think I personally will not be able to take any more to review. So that's just it.
Yes, please just try to understand with us. I personally feel like it's too much pressure on many of us who are just like getting into the UK, and we are trying to settle and understand our program, and we also have to support other people who have their essays. What I did, honestly, when I wanted to apply, I did not reach out to any scholar who just got into the UK that year. Exactly. I had to intentionally reach out to those who are like wrapping up their program or were 1 year or 2 year alumni. Do you get my point? Because I knew that people who just got into the UK like me at present would be very busy and would not have the time. They're trying to settle, they're trying to get acquainted into a new environment. So I utilized the resources they had, all these webinars and sessions. I just followed as much resources as I could get, and people who are more settled, maybe they had finished their program and all, and they were willing to support me. I'm not entitled to anybody's help or support. And in all honesty, this is the busiest time of our lives, because it's like midterm assignment and assessments that are due for us. So it may not be feasible, but I just want to encourage you to do the best you can. Try to run your essay through a grammar check to ensure that it sifts out any grammatical error that you may have. Grammarly is one tool that you can use, the free app. There's also the subscribed version, but you can use the free version to run your essay through it so that you have like grammatically sound essays. I hope all of this helps. We wish you could help more, but unfortunately we are limited. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having you guys. The thing is just that please don't even give people to go and review essay when you've not actually run it on grammar. It is very frustrating, like very frustrating. So when I was actually reviewing some essay and they've not actually running on grammar, and I'm saying like 200 errors, I was like, I got tired. Please, I cannot be reviewing essay and at the same time be correcting errors. Please, it is one mistake you cannot afford to make when you are writing your essays. Don't make mistake of not trying to run your essays on grammar, removing the errors, typo errors. Of course, if you don't, well, it doesn't depend on you.
Listen, can I just say one last thing before you run off? Can I just say one last thing?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So guys, I just want to say this. Look, I said something when I started the conversation. You see, all of us here, we're not different from you guys. You guys are probably even doing way better than most of us. So don't think that you even need a scholar to look at your essay to exceed. No. All you need to do, if you sit down, Goodness talks about doing thorough research on your program, understanding where you are, understanding the vision of where you're going to, and then communicating it. If you do these three things, you don't need anybody. Sit down with your essay. If you're privileged to get somewhere to look at it, thank God. If you don't have, I'm encouraging you, take the bold step. You can do this. Just tell yourself, me, I can do it, and that's all. All right.
Yeah, I just want to say one last thing. Please, you can always follow us because we do share opportunities. So far, there's blessing. You can follow us on our LinkedIn page, on our Twitter, on any of our social media. Just follow us on Instagram. Just press it, Itofah, Dr. Itofah. Just press it, you see there. Follow everybody. And if you want to drop your link to the space, you can actually drop it there. So, and any other further questions, ask me questions. If you feel like you don't understand, when I have time to reply, I will reply you. And if I don't have time, please don't take it serious because I'm currently very, very busy, like very busy. So please, we are busy. I think the best way to, if you want an alumni to receive your essay, we are just the current scholar. I don't have time. There are some people that are feeling like 2 years ago, we have time to actually review. I think that's the best way you should have just directed your essay to actually review for you, not the comment one because we are busy. So it's actually good to meet you guys, and I'm ending this program. And before I end this, Goodness, you want to say one thing in just 30 seconds, then we'll close this up. Thank you.
Please do not downplay the impact and the essence of trusting God to help you. Honestly, it's not by how smart or the achievement or my work. I cannot downplay the help of God. If any of you have read my testimonial when I posted about being chosen for Chevening, it had been God and it is still God. So as you are writing your essay and gathering all those experience, if you are a spiritual person, put your trust in God. Pray that He will give you the wisdom and the might to direct your path. It's more like you are writing and applying like you have not prayed, and you are praying and writing that like you have not applied. So just complement both and trust God to direct your path. Again, if you are just joining or you joined late, you can watch the recording and get most of the answers. I'm seeing more questions, and these are some of the things you've already responded to. So when Blessing gets to share the recording with everyone who registered, you can still refer back to it. And do not also be restricted to what we said. There are many resources out there that many Chevening scholars have done around Chevening application. Go on YouTube, go on Instagram. Soak yourself in this information, right? I don't believe in inconveniencing people. I try to utilize what is already out there to support me before I now ask for additional support. And if the person is available, fine. If they're not available, that's totally fine. Okay, all the best. I'm rooting for you and I wish you good success. We look forward to seeing people who join the session to say I've been chosen for Chevening. We really look forward to that.
All right, thank you so much, guys. And we are ending this section by the grace of God, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Thank you for coming on board. Please don't forget the G factor, God factor, because me personally, it's so far goodness. The G factor actually comes. So don't forget when you're writing your essay, pray for God directions, pray for God's intervention, and for grace, please. So I wish you best of luck in your application. I'm putting this on end. Thank you so much. And I'll be sharing you the recording later. And I'm putting this record to an end. Thank you so much. See you guys later.